So, topic of tonight's talk was taken from a sign on a bus that said, "Don't tell me everything happens for a reason." Has anyone else seen that on the side of the bus? It was on the O-Bahn. I walk along the river and I saw it and it was like, that's a classic. I mean, what teenager hasn't said that to their parents? Anyone here? Don't tell me. I don't want to know. That's the other part of the answer. Like, you know, a teenager, the parents say to try and give some good advice, and it's like, you know, don't tell me that everything happens for a reason. And so there's different aspects of it that I wanted to talk about tonight. I always make notes, but I don't usually remember to look at them. Or anyway, don't tell me everything happens for a reason. So you can figure that a person's saying that because they're in pain, right? That would be the natural conclusion that I took anyway. Don't tell me everything happens for a reason. In other words, something's happened and it's painful and I don't want to know that there's a reason behind it. And so it's like, well, why wouldn't I want to know? Why wouldn't I want to know what the reason is? Why wouldn't I want to find a deeper understanding? Why would I want to just dismiss that, you know, some painful experience? And there's several aspects of it. One is that every living being in the material world is bound by our karma. So we've been in the material world lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. And every body that we inhabit, we engage in activities. And for the lower species of life, they're not responsible for their actions. So like a lion attacks an antelope, he's not going to get bad karma for it, he's not going to get good karma for it, he's just acting according to his nature. But in a human form of life, we have responsibility. And we can use it or not use it, but we are still responsible for our actions. And so that everything that we've ever done in the past, we are going to reap the results of that. And any experience that we go through, whether it's good or bad, we can learn from it. We can use those experiences to deepen our understanding of life and our position in this world, and basically why bad things happen to good people, because we all think that we're good people. So why would something bad happen to me? Right? That's a general kind of feeling. And, you know, we don't want to feel that I had any part in this, that there was anything that I could have changed. And so people do experience some really heavy stuff. But if we can choose not to be a victim, but to actually consider, I am not responsible for someone else's actions, but I am responsible for mine. What somebody else does, I can't necessarily change that, right? You know, maybe we may be able to talk to somebody and encourage some different behaviour, but each one of us are responsible for our own behaviour. And so I am responsible for how I deal with whatever happens to me. Right? The denial thing is, don't tell me that everything happens for a reason. You know, it's not going to help us grow spiritually. It's not going to help us make better decisions in our life to move forward. It's just going to be, it's like a denial thing, you know. I don't want to know, I don't want to feel that it has anything to, you know, because of me, right? Somebody else, the universe or whatever, but nothing to do with me. And so it inhibits someone from actually growing. It stops us. I don't know, like I mentioned to Govinda that it's like when I saw this sign, it didn't, I mean, it's on a bus, right? They pass. You only get time to read the big words, you know. And so I don't know what it was. So I Googled, and I thought, you know, maybe it's to do with Mental Health Month or something, but I didn't find anything. And she said sometimes with advertising, you know, they'll put something out there and kind of get your interest, and then, you know, next week or month or whenever it is, you know, they'll put something else, and you kind of gradually piece it together. So I don't know what slant it was. All I know is this basic kind of thing, and know that we probably all said it when we were a teenager or younger. And I thought it was it's something that's so relevant in our lives when we don't want to learn something, right? Like, you know, and we can't. There's an old saying: a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. You all know that one? Or am I just really, really old? It was one I grew up with. So, you know, if somebody doesn't want to hear, we've all experienced that, right? Both, you know, on the receiving end and the giving end. Somebody doesn't want to hear what you have to say, then they just block it. And it's like, sometimes you'll see kids and they, you know, their parents are trying to tell them something, and it's like, you know, so it's really frustrating for a parent. You know, and you've got to be kind, right? And so, you know, but when someone basically closes their ears when you're trying to help them in some way, we need to step back. If it's a child, you've got to, you know, it's a different situation, but as adults, you've got to figure, you know, it's like each person has free will, and they can choose what they want to hear and don't hear. So Krishna always arranges his information for us in the material world. There's a lot of information here for us if we want it, but he's not going to force it on anybody. So the laws of karma are set in motion to help educate us, but we don't need to know about them. We don't need to acknowledge them. And there's a really basic teaching in Christianity: as ye sow, so shall ye reap. Not so shall I sow, and so shall someone else reap. So we need to, we don't need to. If we want to be more peaceful, if we want to have a deeper understanding in our life, and to have a more harmonious life, and to live more like a sage, where we can go through the challenges, the ups and downs, the knocks, and kind of go through them like a sage without getting affected by them. We're all going to get knocks. You know, nobody gets through this life unscathed. You know, it's tough, right? It's they call it, it's a hard school, the school of hard knocks, right? And so, you know, we're going to get them, and we can try and understand, oh, I wonder what I did to get this happen, you know. But karma is set out in such a way you don't have to look back unless it's recent, right? But it's not like in a past life you can figure out what you did to get this happen. It's just a matter of recognizing, okay, you know, somehow or other I have been in a situation that's made it so this has taken place. Now what can I do? I'm not going to be a victim. I can make choices. I am a responsible human being, and I can grow from adversity. It's super, super important. I mean, I've probably mentioned this before. Carmel and my mum both grew up in orphanages, and it was hellish, completely hellish. And neither of them became a victim of their horrendous experiences. They moved on, and they made amazing lives for themselves. Like, you know, regular life, right? But, you know, as far as their personalities and how they tried to help other people in their life, you know, they didn't kind of go, woe is me. It was just like, shit happens and what can I do? You know, what can I do? Like for my mum, it was like, what can I do to make someone else's life better? Unfortunately, she spoiled us. She didn't want us to go through anything like she went through. Not that we would have by any normal parent standard, but you know, we can ask God for help, and we can get up. When we're knocked down, we're not supposed to stay down. We are supposed to get back up. It's not our nature to give up. Not our nature at all. So we all need help. We're not independent. We're not all powerful. We're not God. I mean, only the farmers that probably want the rain in some parts of Australia. not even a lot of Australia right now. But you know, we have so little control over anything, but we do have control over how we deal with everything. We do have control over. And we're challenged, then we know we must seek help. We can't just get through this life on our own. We need help. And God is so willing. Krishna is just waiting there to help us. You know, his natural position is to offer help and support, and our natural position is to ask for it. It's a really good setup, right? We're just small and we need help, and he wants to help us, and it's really important that we ask for that help. Please help, you know. Maybe we don't know what to do in this situation. Maybe it's just too big for us, you know. So we ask for help. And if we ask for help, it may not come how we hoped. It may not come when we hoped, but the help will be there. And it's just really important that we don't have our heart and mind set on a certain way that we will get our help, right? You know, because it's not necessary. We haven't got the big picture. We don't know exactly what's actually going to be really helpful for us. So if we can try and have our heart open, cautious but open, our heart and our mind open for whatever's going to come along, and the strength and the courage to deal with it. And we will gain that strength and that courage from God, from Krishna. And he gives us a really easy process, of course, to chant, to ask for that help. When we chant, Krishna's right there with us. And he wants to give us help. He wants to give us protection. So when you see the sign on the bus, let it be a reminder, okay, I have choices and I can make really good decisions. Thank you.